Welcome to Full Steam Ahead. I'm your co-host, Gary Siegel, and together with my wife, Judy Siegel, we represent the S in STEAM Fund, the Siegel Trust Enriching Arts and Music. Our mission is to support musicians, artists, and the venues where they share their gift. The Hudson Valley has long been a magnet for incredible musicians, artists, and venues, and through Full Steam Ahead, we get to share the stories behind those who inspire us. Today, we're thrilled to welcome Sally Wright, Executive Director of Catskill Art Space located in Livingston Manor, New York. Under Sally's leadership, Catskill Art Space has grown into a dynamic cultural anchor for the Catskills, expanding exhibitions, artist residencies, performance programs, and arts education opportunities that connect artists with audience of all ages. Before joining Catskill Art Space, Sally worked with the renowned Dia Art Foundation, bringing a unique perspective shaped by her background in anthropology and her commitment to connecting art, place, and community. CAS continues to grow as a hub for creativity with support from organizations like the New York State Council on the Arts and the Andy Warhol Foundation for the Visual Arts, helping ensure contemporary art remains accessible and inspiring for everyone. Before we dive in, we'd love for you to join our community. To learn more about STEAM Fund, please visit steamfund.org, like our social media pages, follow us on Instagram, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and share these episodes with your friends. It's the best way to keep the arts and the conversations moving full steam ahead. So, welcome, Sally, to Full Steam Ahead.
Thank you guys for having me. I'm glad to be here.
We're so glad to have you here and to dive into who you are and what CAS is about. So we'd like to start these conversations with our guests telling us what you're about. What is it you would like people to know about the Catskill Art Space, and when they're done with this, to have a full understanding of what it's about?
Sure. Well, Catskill Art Space, also known as CAS, is a dynamic space that offers a variety of disciplines in the arts. We are also pleased and proud to go beyond that in offering lectures and speaker series as well. Catskill Art Space has long been a cultural anchor for our community, so we think it's vital to meet people at different points of entry, be it a child first taking pen to paper through our CAS Kids Art Education program, a hobbyist who might be interested in deepening their craft in one of our ceramics or drawing classes, or an established artist looking to present their work in a more professional space. So we're pleased to enrich artistic experience in that way for our artists, but we also think widely about our community and our audience, which is hugely diverse in reflecting greater Sullivan County. But as we know, people drive from further reaches to seek out our programs. So we're proud to call ourselves a regional arts destination and see how our audience has grown and diversified.
And, you know, the CAS, the building itself is like, it's the anchor of Livingston Manor, New York, which is also one of the rages of where people are coming to and staying and enjoying the wonderful Catskill air here. So,
to be clear, Livingston Manor, for anybody who has not been there, which is lots of people, is about 1.5 blocks long. It's a beautiful little town on the banks of the Willowee River, but it's this tiny little space. So this takes up a big physical space and also cultural space in what that town has to offer.
So, Sally, you have a background in anthropology, which really isn't the first thing people associate with leading an art space. How does that lens shape the way you think about arts and community?
Yeah. So, first, I'm very lucky. My parents, when I was growing up, really wanted me to see the world in a really deep and introspective way. And so when I was in high school, I did these service trips where I went to first Dominica, where the first native inhabitants of the Caribbean live, as well as Alaska, where I lived with an Athabascan tribe. And
with them or on your own?
with them, yes.
Okay.
We were living in their community center. And similarly, when I was in Dominica with the Carib people. And I so loved this experience and this insight to our differences and our shared commonalities in looking at that. So when I went to college, I was really interested and curious in looking at culture in a more academic framework. My dad also studied anthropology. He then decided to study to become a primatologist and pivoted and did other things. But it's been a part of my family background in looking at culture in different ways. And to me, I think it's a really useful framework for looking at art, which I believe to be visual culture. It shares a lot about its people, its society, and for me, it's been a really fruitful lens to look at the work we do, not only in the art that we're presenting, but the different people and perspectives.
Awesome. So before you were here, you were at DIA, which I don't know much about DIA. So you could tell us a little bit about that if you'd like. But how did that help develop your ability to support artists, or your desire to support artists and your growth regarding the artists themselves, as opposed to your own internal joy that the art brings for you?
Yeah. DIA Art Foundation is an organization that's been around for, I think, nearly 50 years. It has long been a space and platform that's championed artists in different ways. First started in a very unconventional model in which they offered artists time and space and money to realize really ambitious artworks that otherwise would not be able to be realized. So DIA comes from the Greek word for through. So they really think of themselves as a vehicle for the creation of art. And in that way, DIA now hosts multiple different sites throughout North America, as well as Europe, as well as championing a number of different commissions and public programs in which they do just that. They empower artists to realize work that otherwise would not be seen. So I was and still am so inspired by this ethos and this commitment to artistic stewardship. And it's something that I think is hugely important in a time when we are seeing cultural spaces quickly changing, the scope changing to meet varying priorities, and DIA really prides itself on being a space that is committed to honoring artists' integrity and vision.
And is it located in Manhattan?
So the administrative offices are based in Chelsea, New York, where there also is an exhibition space. They are more commonly known for their regional art space in Beacon called DIA Beacon, which houses much of their long-term collection, but they host a number of earthworks that are in the American Southwest.
So what inspired you to bring these big institution principles to Livingston Manor, New York?
Yeah.
A little bitty town.
Yeah. Well, I think that there's a lot to glean from them, and specifically the works that we are showing. So there's a James Turrell site-specific installation called Avar, which is one of his early space division constructions. So it is a work that is really about looking. You enter an ostensibly pitch black space. With time, your eyes come to adjust, and you're able to make sense of this aperture or opening in front of you.
I've actually experienced that.
Yeah, it's about perception. It's about being and slowing down, which to me is very specific to the Catskills. This is a place where a lot of people come to retreat, take stock of their surroundings, where they are at. So in that way, it feels reflective of place. And then I'd argue our Saul LeWitt installation. Saul LeWitt is a conceptual artist that passed away a few years ago, But with his works, he offers directives to how the work should be installed or realized. So we worked with 5 all-female artists local to the region to install this work over 13 days. And with that, to me, the work is reflective of its people. That may not be immediately apparent, but it invites similar introspection and thinking about, how is this done? How do you get 30,000 lines in this precise, exacting manner applied to the wall? What makes it different from when my child scribbles on my kitchen wall? So it introduces these really big questions about contemporary art. What is art? Where is intention? Where does the importance of the concept or the idea lie? And then bringing in more to people in community, we host Francis Cape's A Gathering of Utopian Benches, in which he has recreated different benches from different profit-sharing communities or societies. And with that, he's using utopian in an ironic way, because it never is just that. There's, of course, power imbued in these groups, but there's also really important ideas to glean from them about working for the better good and shared good. And the benches are about coming together. So we hope people come and hang out and spend time there.
So I want to say that Judy, those are all the questions that Judy asks about the art.
Like, why?
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
why,
Right?
and not only that, I think we all need to slow down somewhat
Yeah.
at some time in our lives. So
Yeah.
maybe to experience that.
I just think it must be so exciting to be an art-oriented person that then has an opportunity to
Yeah.
bring that to being
Yeah.
and to take all the things that you have learned and that you feel, and then have a space to be able to display it and help other people see it. And I think
Yeah.
that must be really inspiring. So at Cass, before you came, it was one way. I'm sure it's different now. What's different? How have you?
Yeah.
You've brought those things,
Yeah.
but how have you changed Cass from where it was to where it is now?
Yeah. So this summer marks my 9th year.
Wow.
Which is wild. So I feel like I've grown up a lot, as the organization has too. And in that, we've really expanded the scale and breadth of what we do. So we, of course, have these long-term presentations, but we also have rotating exhibitions on the ground floor, which are now open year-long. Prior to that, we would take a winter recess, but we've seen this is a flourishing community. We don't stop in January. There's still people here. In fact, having vital cultural offerings are all the more important in
Absolutely.
the bowels of winter,
Desperately
when
needed.
when we're freezing and looking for something to do. We've also expanded our public programming. So our Catskills Art Education program, which was not taking place at the time which I started, has now picked up. In the summer months, it takes place 6 out of 7 days of the week, and in the school year we have it twice a week, as well as every second Saturday of the month. We offer completely free arts education to our kids.
Awesome. And to be clear, all your programs are free. Is that correct? Is that your philosophy, or not?
Yeah,
all? Most,
yeah.
right?
Most all of our programs are free. That is also a change. Prior, we offered ticketed events, and I feel that even with a nominal ticket fee, there's a barrier to entry, and I want CAS to be open and accessible to all, and removing this social and economic barrier is vital in getting people in the door and butts in seats.
That's fantastic. So we look at the building that you're in, and you've done a great expansion of that. But I want to first talk about that when we were kids, that was the Manor Theater building.
Yeah.
Gary and I grew up in Livingston Manor, and in the 60s and 70s.
Yeah, so I mean, we used to go to the Friday night movies that they would show. I think they were maybe 50 cents.
That's amazing.
Well, that ages us.
Yeah.
I guess. It makes us look old, but
We are.
I guess we are. But since then the Fulton family bought the property, and also the peninsula that's in the back where you have your gala, right? And now this great expansion has happened with the building itself. Maybe you want to talk a little bit about how that came about and what's been done.
Sure. Yeah. So Catskill, formerly Catskill Art Society, moved to 48 Main Street in Livingston Manor in 2007. To this incredible building that you've spoken of that has always been the cultural bedrock for Livingston Manor, which is so special. It's really amazing to hear from people that come in and say, I saw The Wizard of Oz for the first time here, or I saw Gone with the Wind.
We
had my first kiss there, those kinds of things.
I love
There's so much history there.
Listen, they pranced us over from the school to go see Gone with the Wind, and it was in 2 parts.
Yeah.
So it was not just one day, it was
it's
2
a big
days.
day. Yeah.
It was a big day. It's a big part of our history.
Yeah. But I think you call it out so well. There is this immediate connection between Cass and the school. These 2 beautiful brick buildings.
Incredibly beautiful.
Cass boasts itself as having the largest footprint on Main Street. And so in coming in 2007, the organization did a very cursory renovation to make the spaces adequate for exhibiting art, as well as put in 2 studio spaces in the rear. And there was always dreams of expanding to the 2nd floor, but it just took considerable time, money, and enthusiasm to get there. So let's see, in 2017, my husband was working for Water Defense, which is an offshoot of Catskill Mountkeeper, which is an environmental advocacy group that's based up here. And we spent quite a bit of time up here, and I learned of Cass and what Cass was doing and working towards renovating and occupying their 2nd floor and installing this James Turrell piece. And I was really excited by that because I'd seen the impact that bringing major contemporary art can have to these more rural destinations, in the same way that Dia's activation at Dia Beacon really transformed that space and the greater region as a whole. So I was really excited by that, and I started volunteering for Cass and helping fundraising, as that's where my background is. And it was so exciting to be a part of it from a volunteer perspective, because I really believed in this project, right. And it takes a lot of chutzpah to do something like
chutzpah.
Chutzpah, excuse me, yeah. So I ended up leaving Dia in 2017 and joining Cass. I think it was June 2017, and it wasn't until October 2022, so nearly 5 years later, that the building reopened. Wow. It took considerable time, planning, fundraising.
COVID in between. There's a lot that happened.
I had a baby. Right. I had 2 babies. Yeah.
A lot of life happened.
Yeah.
Right.
Which makes it all the richer.
So it's really sort of gotten its teeth in the last 4 years. Would that be an accurate statement?
Sure,
that it was doing great things before. I don't want to suggest that it wasn't, but it's really, I think, with your guidance and with absolutely a stronger understanding of the people that are coming to Livingston Manor. More people came after COVID. There was a different energy in the whole.
The community's transformed,
right.
And I'm actually, there were times when we were kicking ourselves and saying, we wish construction were faster, and we wish we could have been open, and we could have. But in fact, it was really affirming to see the community grow and expand, and people's with existing ties deepen. Their sense, ahead of this, and then to have opened in 2022, and then seen the incredibly warm response that we've gotten, it feels really, really worthwhile.
Do you think that, I'm sorry.
I was going to say, just to get back to the space, if you could maybe explain, because we've been to a number of performances in the upstairs space, and it looks over the
Music
the-
performances as
Yeah.
opposed to just the visual arts.
Yeah.
the musical performances that looks over the Beaver Kill. Maybe explain a little
Sure.
bit.
So with our renovation, we did some work to our existing facade to improve the visitor experience and also just safety of the building. But really, the cornerstone of this renovation was the activation of our second floor, which allowed us to double our programmatic space. We now have 9,000 square feet on Main Street, which is
It's big.
pretty huge. And with it, in the third floor, we've designated 3 different gallery spaces, one of which is also our multi-purpose performance space. So Francis Cape's A Gathering of Utopian Benches are there in perpetuity, I hope. But the work is malleable in that it allows us to utilize the benches when we have big events and we need to provide adequate seating, which is just so affirming to be in a place where we don't have enough seats.
And how many does the
With
space
the
hold?
with the benches, about I'm supposed to say under 100.
Under 100.
That's the official word.
And
That's the
Oh, sorry. They say, people that know music say that the sound in that room is really just phenomenal.
Yeah,
That
the
acoustics are
the
really
acoustics
very,
are great.
Yeah.
You know, we're quick to admit our limitations. So, and to that end, I don't find it a handicap in any way. In fact, it's really kind of expansive to say, like, let's think about incredible music that can be presented that perhaps does not rely on amplification. So in that way, we've really carved out a niche in jazz and chamber music, 2 disciplines that are of real interest and passion for me. And they sound really good in the
So good.
space. The acoustics are really good.
We've seen the Weekend of Chamber Music there. We've seen Thurman Barker perform.
Nice.
We saw the movie. What was it? The Nook of something. The Alaskan Nook. What was it? I don't remember.
Nanook of the North.
Yeah, where Weekend of Chamber Music
Yeah.
did this
Was I there?
improvisation thing. No, I don't
I
think
didn't
you
think
were
so. I
there.
didn't think we saw that.
But it was really
Yeah.
amazing that where they improvised the music soundtrack for
Yeah.
it while the movie was.
Wasn't that cool?
Oh
yeah.
my God! It was fantastic. It was fantastic.
So, do you think that in since 2022 or maybe earlier that Cass has sort of grown the understanding of art in our community? Is it that more people come in to see what we have, or do you feel like you're reaching, you're creating an opportunity for people to actually tap into their art and their
Yeah.
understanding and appreciation of what it is?
That's a good question. I think it's so multi-pronged. I want to expand our audience. I also want to deepen our audience. I love seeing people come back again and again to see different things. And invariably, you're going to see it in a different way every time. And whatever you may take from that, whether it enriches and challenges your own artistic practice, or if it gives you the gumption to pursue your hobby watercolor practice in a more intentional way, beautiful. I think there's so much that can be gleaned from art. I think it's so vital to have this here. I think another thing we haven't really talked about, but is really at top of mind for me after we just had an opening this weekend, it's an incredible space to cultivate community. The people that show up time and time again to our artist openings, there's such a sense of goodwill and shared investment in each other, and it's such a beautiful thing to see deepen and grow.
Well, it's a thing that can happen in small communities and in rural areas in a way that maybe is more difficult in other areas, that you sort of see the same people.
Yeah.
You run into each other then at one of the coffee shops or at the supermarket, and you can connect, and then you see each other again maybe at another event, and you develop relationships.
Yeah.
It's really, in this era that we live in of people sort of staying in more and on their screens more, and it's important to have these opportunities to actually find people
Yeah.
of like mind. There are many different ways that can happen, but not if you aren't part of a culture that does that. So
Yeah.
it's cool that CAST provides the opportunity. And again, your model of being free allows people just sort of be there for the opening, but also pop in and say, "Oh, I think
Have
I want
a
to
free
revisit
glass of
that."
wine.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think, we're all living pretty siloed existences. I mean, in a rural community, we are physically, geographically far from each other. It's hard to get together, especially in the winter months. And then, of course, with the advent of remote work, people are living and working at home, and to have us
All day, every day.
yeah,
Something to do.
to come together. I also think, of course, New York City, there's endless things to do. Perhaps with a scarcity of things to do, there's all the more urgency. So when something's happening,
Right.
in
Everybody
the bowels
kind of
of winter,
dives in.
people come.
Right.
It's
Well,
so
you
it's
have
so
the
beautiful.
year-round people, and then you
Yeah.
have the weekenders.
Yep.
And you have the summer people that come.
Yep.
How do you balance what your programs are
Yeah.
to accommodate all of those?
Well, I think that I wouldn't want to silo those groups. I think that there's a lot of differences and commonalities and overlap amongst them all. And I never think of developing a program for a specific cohort. We are strategic with timing, though. So we know that over a long weekend in January or February or November, we're going to be much more likely to get a bigger crowd. We've been doing this for now so long that we've also built in expectations around our calendar. So they know that if they come the beginning of June, they're very likely going to see a jazz performance. And over Memorial Day weekend, we will very likely have our Ardsley Dance residency performance. So there's a sort of tenor to the work we do that allows people to expect and plan. I hope people plan. Make the schlep, come, see us.
And you also make sure that you don't conflict with other arts organizations too, right?
Yeah.
I know we talked about that.
I think it's really important to buoy everyone. There's no reason to cannibalize yourself or someone else for the sake of programming. So we're really strategic in that way.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. So let's talk about Cass Kids and
Sure.
and maybe the development of that program and maybe how it started and then how it's developed to today.
So Catskills is an entity that's been around for a number of years. It was in existence prior to my appointment, but I find it to be vitally important now more than ever. Arts funding is being cut, and visual and performing arts are the first to go with budget cuts in different ways. And so thanks to the tremendous generosity of the Goyanis Family Foundation, we've been able to expand this programming. Previously, it was exclusively visual arts programming, but it's since expands to theater, which is our oftentimes movement play-based. We've also done yoga classes for children in the past as well. So each Wednesday we have after-school art classes from 4:30 to 5:30, which are really rooted in art historical context. So we will introduce an artist or an artwork or an art movement, and then the kids will make artwork based on that. So
And
it's
what age kids, and where do you find them? Where do these kids come from?
So we work closely with the local school districts. BOCES has been incredible in helping us get the word out, but also grassroots marketing. So going on Facebook and Instagram and pushing has been tremendous. We've seen a huge group of homeschooled children that come and, of course, are coming not only for the program, but the socialization that it offers. So it takes a village. It takes a village.
And it's open to any kid.
Any kid, totally
Age.
free. Generally ages 4 to 12. We have specific teen programs, but sadly we kind of lose their interest as they get a little bit older. But any age, completely free, drop-in based. You don't have to register for a full session. We know that sports picks up and dance and, people's availability when the weather gets nice, kids want to be outside. But we really pride ourselves on being this constant source of support for the community.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So I think you shared a story about teenagers that were in the local school at Livingston Manor High School or Rockland Central School District, discovering pathways into their careers. Can you tell that?
Sure. Yeah. So we are really proud. Our gallery attendants most often are coming from the Rockland School, formerly
Rockland.
Livingston Manor, now
Well,
Rockland.
it was Livingston Manor and Roscoe, and then they merged to
Exactly.
become the Rockland Central School District, which is in the Sullivan Catskills. We're about an hour and a half northwest of Manhattan. So
Exactly,
Just
yeah.
Not
for
to
the
be
viewers
confused
and
with
the
Rockland
listeners.
County.
Right.
Exactly,
not to be
exactly.
confused.
Thank you.
Yes.
And our gallery attendants, they're stewards for the artwork. So they are there to protect the artwork, but also to enhance meaning and understanding for visitor experiences. So they are our front lines. They are the face of CAS. And they, in doing this job, they've come to see and experience that there's so many different viable careers and pathways in art, in thinking about pursuing work in galleries, museums, other cultural institutions, and then also, of course, the proximity to other practicing artists and knowing that you can be an artist. It's a viable career pathway.
You can meet an artist. I
Exactly.
could tell you that. I guess you can't say that I never met an artist growing up in Livingston Manor, New York, because you meet them. My art teacher was an artist, no doubt, many people. But to be able to meet and interact and speak with somebody who's making their living as an artist in the world is an incredible opportunity in a rural county, in a rural community. So I think that's really special.
It's beautiful. And it's been amazing to see. They've since gone on to art school.
Very
Tyler has applied to art school and will be hearing imminently. I'm
amazing.
so proud. I'm so proud of these guys.
So talk about AI and the arts and the impact that AI might have on, in your opinion, on the future of art, on art at CAS, on art at with these students. What do you think about that?
Well, I think that, the only way in which is good is that it makes a case for art. You can't take human touch and experience from art, and to me, it feels all the more urgent to embolden and nurture artists to create art. And I think that it's something that people see and immediately respond to. You see it if you're looking at a painting and you're able to make sense of a brushstroke, make sense that an artist's hand was once there, and then you can connect to that person. But I think that, the only good is that it spotlights how vital,
important
how vital it is
to our future.
Yeah.
It's a great point. Great point. So you recently received a Maximum Award from the New York State Arts Council on the Arts, right? And also a 2-year grant from the Andy Warhol Foundation for the Visual Arts. So what does that recognition mean to CAS?
It's huge. It's incredibly validating. It means the world to us. And of course, these are vital dollars that go towards our programmatic operation so that we are able to do what we do and do it in an equitable, free way. But also, especially most recently with the Warhol Award, to me, it's incredibly affirming to be held in the same company as the other award recipients, and it's huge. Huge, yeah.
So you don't just survive through grants, though. You have a really strong membership base, right? How do people help you that way? How is that membership Space supporting you, and talk a little bit about
Yeah.
those members and what that offers.
Yeah, so we get a lot of support from individual donors, individual foundations, grant-making entities in that way. But our membership is really our first point of entry. It offers people a way to support at a level that feels appropriate for them and in their means. And we're so grateful to our members for supporting us in this way, and also the sense of community and identity that it gives in saying that you believe in this organization. So in turn, we offer a number of benefits to our members, including discounts at CAS classes, discounts at local participating businesses, which are pretty extensive, as well as privileged access to different events and film screenings and things of that sort.
And there is also obviously the intrinsic reward of supporting something as amazing
Yeah.
as CAS, and really, a person, I think that we belong to a number of organizations differently, and the opportunity to just do something because it feels good, it's the right thing to do, and that's more valuable than most of those rewards, which are also important, and I don't want to dismiss them, but truly the intrinsic reward of saying, wow, I helped keep this alive, I helped keep the arts alive in this crazy world, I think has incredible value.
Yeah, I think philanthropy feels good.
Yeah,
No one regrets those dollars you gave to an organization or cause you really believe in.
Gary and I will always say that we receive much more than we ever give.
And you guys are profoundly generous. So
we know that we get so much more out of giving than we ever receive.
So we've been to your gala the last couple of years.
And there's
outdoors,
so much fun.
In the tent.
Yeah.
Right next to the river in this beautiful rural setting. How did that come about? And tell us, why don't you talk a little bit about the gala?
Sure.
And the annual, I guess it's an annual event, I'm guessing. So
yeah, so our gala is our largest fundraising event of the year. It raises vital funds that sustain us the year round. It's also a really important point for us to get together as a community. So we invite all of our participating artists, our artist council members to join us. It previously was held at an off-site venue, but we thought that it's really important that we put the program front and center. So cocktails take place in CAS, which is really fun to be able to go through the space with a cocktail or wine glass in hand.
It's very fancy.
And take in the new art, which is usually had opened a week or two prior. And then we have a seated dinner in a tent in Renaissance Park, which is the town very generously allows us to use. And it's a great party. I think a lot of these galas feel there's a lot of virtue signaling, and sure, it's a time for us to wave the flag and tell everyone who we are and what we do, but we want to celebrate and take stock of everything that's been done and everything to come.
It's a wonderful event.
It's fun.
It's just a feel-good event.
Yeah.
You just, you're supporting something good. It's in this beautiful space outside. Yeah. And it is just a chance to mingle with people that you don't always get to just sit down and have dinner with. There's big, long tables under a tent. It's great.
Yeah.
It's something that I hope that people listening to this say, oh, I want to attend that, because it's
Me too.
So worth, not just because of the support, but because it's you leave there feeling like, wow, that was just a great night. It's not stuffy. It's not like that. It's just
it's really fun. Yeah. And it's also, the site now is all the more important because it's the site of where the town's Riverwalk will be, which will be a pedestrian thoroughfare that connects from Main Street to behind our building. So you will be able to walk right along the Little Beaver Kill into the Willowemoc, along the Willowemoc Creek. And part of the River Walk includes our own plans to develop our rear yard into a sculpture garden. So
that's exciting.
very, very, very exciting. Last year we had a temporary activation from Samuel Green, who's a tremendous artist who we've shown before. And
At the benches.
Yes, the stacked chairs that were
chairs.
activated with a light. Yeah.
That was
So,
fun.
so for those viewers and listeners who've never been to Livingston Manor, New
You
York,
should just come.
that river walk is going to be amazing because you walk along the Willowimock River, and to your right, as you're walking, the WPA 1939 Rockland Central School District, which was originally the Livingston Manor Central School. The building is a WPA. It's a monument. It's really
so beautiful.
It's
Designed
absolutely-
after it looks a little bit like Constitution Hall in
Yeah.
Philadelphia, and it sits back with a courtyard between it and the river, and then there's Main Street, and it's really it's just charming outside and inside.
Yeah, the
It's
woodwork inside,
beautiful.
the marble staircase. It's really a beautiful setting.
Yeah.
For anyone to come and visit. So
Livingston Manor is a really sweet little town, and
Exactly.
everybody should
Yeah.
come visit and see
Yeah.
what we have there.
So if we fast forward 5 or 10 years, where do you see Cass? Where do you see Sally Wright in 5 or 10 years?
It's
What-
like an
Yeah.
interview question.
Well, I think doing more of the same, continuing the work that we've done, the Riverwalk and the Rear Yard Sculpture Garden project to be realized, which I'm so excited to have this other point of entry to the cultural offerings. Similarly, completely free, open, accessible, beyond gallery hours. It feels really democratic and beautiful in that way. So I'm so excited for that. But as we were talking about before we started, CAS has a number of residency programs in which we offer time and space for artists of varying disciplines to come to the Catskills, drop out of their life, and create. We believe this place to be hugely inspiring. So I'd love to think of different ways to expand our residency programs.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And lastly, if there's one thing that people would take away from this interview that you would want them to remember about Cass or yourself, what would that be?
Yeah. I think similar to how I started, there is something for everyone. It doesn't matter what your point of entry is, if you're a kid doing scribbles or if you're an incredibly sophisticated art goer, or if you're just curious because you saw something that piqued your interest through the windows. I think that it's for everyone, and there's something to be gleaned and something to be taken away. And I love that you ask these questions. Why? Like, why is this here? What is it? And I like that.
what she does.
Yeah, you're very good at it. You're very good at it.
He may disagree on some
Yeah.
occasions. He says sometimes it's exhausting.
Yeah.
That's what he,
But I like, in turn, I'd also say to our audience, there's no right or wrong answer.
right.
And that's what I find to be so expansive and inclusive about the arts and what we do at CAS is.
how do you grow? How do you
Yeah.
learn? And it's just too simple to say, oh yeah, it's whatever it means to you. That's not enough for somebody that's like me.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, but why? But what?
Yeah.
How much more could it mean to me if I understood more?
Yeah.
And what is there to understand? And those are sort of the quests that I feel like having a actual structure like CAS, where you could actually go and see and perhaps meet the artist or the people that know, is
Yeah.
such an incredible gift
Yeah.
to a community, to a county, and to somebody who knows so little.
And that's
you.
what
That's
Full
so
Steam
nice.
Ahead is all about, is to answer those why questions
Yeah.
and to be able to showcase CAS
And Sally Wright.
organizations
Thank you.
like CAS and people like Sally Wright.
So how do they find you? If people want to get more
Sure.
involved, how do they find CAS or you?
You can find us at catskillartspace.org or on Instagram at Catskill Art Space. And we are open Friday and Saturday, 48 Main Street in Livingston Manor from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Sundays 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. And of course, our kids programs expand beyond that on Wednesdays and Thursdays, 4:30 to 5:30. We have yoga classes. There's so much more. So visit our website. Visit our website.
Exactly, and not only try to go and experience these programs and the art exhibits there, but also consider making a donation to CAS, because I'm sure all of your donations will help to be able to support these programs that and sustain the programs and grow the programs.
Thank you.
Yeah. So thanks, Sally.
Thank
It's
you
so great
much.
to have you here with us, and we really appreciate you taking the time.
Thank you, guys.
To be here. So once again, for our listeners and viewers, we encourage you to check out Catskill Art Space at catskillartspace.org, where you can access videos, photos, upcoming exhibitions, artist residencies, education programs, and contact info. To learn more about the STEAM Fund, please visit our website at steamfund.org, like our social media pages, follow us on Instagram, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and share these episodes for your friends. It's the best way to keep the arts and the conversations moving full steam ahead. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time on Full Steam Ahead.
Thank you.